The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the world to you. I'm your host, Veronica Greety, in for Dr. Bob Lee, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our community as well as around the world. Coming up on today's show, we'll find out about some great family-friendly programs for you to get out and enjoy in the summer months and beyond. And the 2014 Grandparents' Ball recently took place, and we'll take a closer look at the work one group is doing to highlight the valuable contributions of our seniors. After that, we'll learn about a community event educating you on all things credit. Plus, we'll sit down with an author empowering readers all around the globe. And finally, our Music Monday stage features the smooth and soulful sounds of singer Rhythm and Bible. So stay tuned. All this and much more is headed your way because we are now officially open. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Veronica Greety, and you're watching Open, the only live and interactive program that brings the Bronx and the New York City straight to your homes. We've got a great show for you today, but first, let's check in with our DJ, Vince Bracey. Hey, Vince.
Veronica, happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday to you. How was your weekend?
My weekend was cool. I had a lot of fun, partied a lot.
Yeah? I'm surprised you're here early.
Yeah, you know, I'm here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as usual.
I had a great weekend, too. I'm just so excited that the summer, well, it's almost finally here.
Yeah,
We're having
almost.
great weather.
Yeah, you know, it's been what, like 80s the past week, so I think we're doing well.
I'm finally able to go out without my scarf.
Yeah,
I go out with my
got
scarf
the
everywhere.
Michelle Obama going on with the no sleeves.
I try.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, every sleeveless dress I have, I call it my Michelle Obama dress.
Oh,
because,
really?
Yes, because I feel powerful in it. I'm like, oh, I show my arms.
Nice,
That's what
nice.
Michelle Obama does, so that's what I'm going to do.
Hey, gotta lead after her, right?
Yes, yes. You know, I was watching the news, and one sad thing that happened this weekend is Ann Davis passed away.
Right,
From the
Ann
Brady
Davis.
Bunch.
She played Alice.
Alice.
On the Brady Bunch. Yeah.
I grew up on the Brady Bunch. Well, in the reruns, you know.
Well, yeah,
Not
I also watched the Brady Bunch for a little while. People always made fun of me because my last name is Bracey, so it was kind of like, oh, the Bracey
Also
Bunch.
like a
But
play on
yeah, Alice, I believe she was 88 years old. She
was
passed away
88,
in
yes.
in Texas, either yesterday or the day before.
I think it was yesterday, but she lived a long life. And
Yes.
I mean, I loved her character. I loved the whole show. It was
Yeah,
one of my
it was a
favorite
great
shows that
show,
we
you
had.
know.
So, you know, prayers and condolences to her family. But I'm really excited about the show we have today, and I'm
Yes.
excited about the music that you're going to be playing.
Why, thank you.
I heard you started off with some Michael.
Yeah, you know, I had to put on the personal request, the brand new Michael Jackson.
Yes, can't go wrong with Michael.
Definitely not.
All right, Vince, thanks a lot.
No problem.
All right. The Turtle Cove Golf Center provides a number of programs in golf, networking, and overall socializing with family and community members. Joining us to share more about all of the unique and exciting activities are Anthony Esposito, owner of Turtle Cove, and Rick Nielsen, director of golf at Turtle Cove. Welcome, guys.
How are you?
Little
Thanks
tongue
for
twister
having
there,
us.
Turtle Cove. How you guys doing today?
Really well.
Yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
So we are so excited to have golf in the Bronx. I mean, with all the renovations that have been going on in the parks, this is a great addition. So tell us a little more about the organization and what's going to be happening.
Well, it's going into our third year at Turtle Cove. We made a lot of renovations. We did new batting cages. We put a whole new tee line in on the facility. We have camps. We have the miniature golf that's all renovated. Our food is weeks away from opening. We have a pizza and beer garden that we're going to be opening.
Exciting.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
And it's going to be open in time for the summer?
Yes.
Wonderful.
We're waiting on the equipment as we speak, so
Wow.
it's en route. Unfortunately, we had a long winter, I think, as everyone else
Oh
did.
my gosh,
But
yes, we did.
finally, as you said earlier, the weather's here, the
Yes.
jackets are away,
Yes.
and the people are coming out in droves, and we're real excited to see them and have them.
That's so exciting. So where is Turtle Cove located? We're in the Bronx.
Turtle Cove is on City Island Road, so it's the road toward City Island, just off the Hutchinson River Parkway. So it's easily accessible from both 95 and Hutch.
So beautiful scenery as you're golfing.
Yeah, we're
Pelham Bay Park.
right in the park. There's a ton of things to do in the park. There's horseback riding, there's golf courses, baseball fields, tennis courts, basketball courts. There's a lot of activity. It's actually the largest park in New York City.
That's so
2.5
exciting.
times Central Park, so it's
I know,
good stuff.
I'm very excited about it because for me, I don't really like watching golf, but
Right.
playing it is another story. I love, well, I don't know how to do it too well, but I'm
Right.
sure there are activities there. There are a lot of instructors there who are able to give us lessons.
Rick,
Well,
is
if you'd
it-
like to learn, then we have a lot of programs for golfers of all abilities. So we have group lessons for brand new golfers, all the way up to skilled golfers. So for ladies golfers, executive women golfers, juniors, so there's just about anything.
Let's talk about the summer program that you're going to be having for the youth.
Yeah.
When does that start and what are the ages?
That starts at the end of June, the last week of June when the kids are out of school. Basically, it's a one-week program. We meet from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We pair up with the golf course up the road, the Pelham Split Rock Golf Course. So we do instruction. 1 week we do for the younger kids, and then the next week we'll do for the older kids. So we do upwards of 10 kids per week with 2 instructors. And by the end of the week, they're professional.
Wow, so you may have a Tiger Woods coming from the Bronx.
Absolutely.
It'd be great. It'd be great, especially if he came out of Turtle Cove.
Oh, definitely. So how do parents get their kids involved in these activities for the summer? Do they need to start to register now? I mean, we are already in June.
It would be really helpful.
Yeah.
The more lead time we have, the more organized it will be, and could be for the kids. They could go to our website, turtlecovegolfcenter.com, call our shop, 718-885-1129, speak
And
to
we'll
one
have
of
all
our...
this up on the screen,
Yeah.
for you, so not to
Good.
worry.
We have, I mean, there's, you know, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're constantly updating what's going on as far as programs. We have weekly programs, we have clinics, we have the midweek get-together that we do, like a networking event at the facility from 6 to 8, where people come in from all different industries, come down, and we basically use golf as a vehicle for them to get together, meet each other, cross paths, exchange business cards, and maybe lead into something more.
I think that's great because most of these networking events, you always see them happening in the city. So for the Bronx to have this going on and then to center it around
Right.
golf, especially in the
Yeah.
summer, it's
Right.
perfect.
It's an outdoor activity,
Yeah.
and I think we spent enough time indoors this past
I
winter,
agree.
so anything to get outside is a good thing.
And
So
we
what-
just
go ahead,
started a Sunday afternoon family day, where if you come with a family, you get a buy one get one on the miniature golf. So it's great to bring the whole family out. So we're trying to promote the entire family to get together and come to our facility.
So why did you think this was necessary or needed for the Bronx?
When we first saw the facility, it was a little rundown, but we came into the neighborhood and we loved the park. We thought it had a lot of potential. It was a really beautiful area, and we came in with our full intentions to make it a family center where people can go spend time with their kids, and it'd be affordable too.
Yeah.
So it's not too expensive, and the activities are kind of vast, so that there's something to do for everyone in the family. It doesn't mean you have to play one sport, if it's baseball or if it's miniature golf or if it's the driving range, but there's something for everyone there. And it's a unique place. It's a unique place. It's a pretty area. It's a very well-kept park, especially our facility. We take pride in keeping it clean, keeping it neat and organized, and families seem to gravitate toward it, so it's exciting.
And you've incorporated new technology with these golf lessons.
Yes.
What talk about that?
Well, we just incorporated technology called FlightScope. FlightScope is a phased array radar which measures the golf ball, the spin rate, how far it goes. It's computerized. It also measures what the golf club is doing. So it really helps the instructor measure what's going on. It measures things that your naked eye couldn't possibly see. It also helps the student to learn faster. We also have something called the K-Vest, which is a three-dimensional body vest that goes on your torso, your hips, and your hand, and it'll measure what's going on with your body during your swing.
Wow.
And it animates you and shows you in degrees how you're moving, how fast you're moving. And the instructor can then help you through biofeedback make better movements with your golf swing.
Wow, this sounds very exciting. So one more time, when will people be able to participate? When will they begin to be able to go to the park and take part in these activities?
We're open right now, every day, from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., excuse me. Last bucket we sell is a half hour prior, but our hours will only grow going into once the summer months hit. And the activities are wide open right now. You can get instruction. We have programs listed. Our camp dates are set and on our website. Everything is all the information is there for the viewer. Mm-hmm. And if there are any questions, they can always call us or just swing down. It's 1 City Island Road, Pelham Bay Park.
Excellent. Thank you so much,
My pleasure.
Anthony.
Thank you so much for having us.
Stop by. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you. And remember, for more information on any of these programs, you can visit Turtle Cove, golfcenter.com, or follow them at social media at Turtle Cove NYC. We have to take a quick break, but coming up, we'll take a look at an organization showcasing the contributions of our seniors. Stay tuned.
I love being in classrooms like this one and learning new things. But I'm a Brooklyn girl, and I know school can be hard. It's demanding, and we kids have many distractions, lots of other things we could be doing. Sometimes even your friends may tell you that school isn't cool, that it isn't the place to be. Don't listen to them. There's nothing more important than education. It's the key to everything else. It helps us understand our world and be better people, better friends, and better citizens. So stay in school, and don't let anyone tell you that you're not good enough or smart enough. Be a star, shine brighter than anyone else, and you'll make the grade.
This has been a public service announcement of the Make the Grade Foundation. Go to makethegrade.org to learn more.
Hi, this is Jeff Fox for 107.5 WBLS, and when I get off the radio, I check out my man, the Dr. Bob Lee. It's open on BronxNet. I never miss it.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, singing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Live with a human for a while, and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she does strange tricks for no treats. But the one thing I will never, for the life of me, know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
Welcome back. I'm your host, Veronica Greety. Grandparents around the world has a mission to bridge that gap between our seniors and our youth. And recently they held their 8th annual Grandparents Ball, paying tribute to a number of grandparents that have gone above and beyond for their families and communities. Joining us to share more about the organization and event is founder Yverne Gillard Randolph and Priscilla Crowell, awardee and community liaison. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
How are you both doing today?
Quite well, and yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we want to talk about the organization, Grandparents Around the World. What does it mean? Why was it started?
Started in 2005. After having this phenomenal relationship with my grandmother, I was raised by her for many during my young childhood period, and I wanted to start a program that can actually bring our grandparents and our seniors, our grandparents or seniors and youth together, because that played a very important role, you know, as even today in my life. Just having my grandmother there, have that sort of like, I always call her my security blanket. And grandparents just have so much, or senior, just have so much to offer. And I think it is a gap between the seniors and the youth. And we're doing some things to hopefully bring that, or to bridge those gaps.
Well, was there something that happened 2 years ago that made you say, you know what, this needs to happen? Was there an incident or anything that happened, or was this something that you were seeing in the community between seniors and youth that made you say, okay, I need to create this organization?
Well, you know, as you may know, I'm a retired officer. I retired in 2000, and I wrote my grandmother's story as a contribution to her life after she passed away. She lived to be 90 years old. Wow. And I actually just went around and collected seniors and the youth in our community, and we put this production up called Dinner at Grandma's, and it was in our community from 2004 to 2012. So, yes, something did happen. You know, I always said it came from God, because God just gave it to me, and like I told everyone, He only gave me the beginning. He never gave me the end. So it's a journey. But as I move forward in the journey, I see a big need for it. Talking to my seniors, talking to the youth, looking at some of the disconnection. And I try to incorporate with my relationship with my grandmother. We know the molds are not the same, but the important things are grandparents or seniors have so much to offer, not only to her own household, but her community. Yes. And that's who is actually looking at it. All of us, we're all, well, I could say that I'm moving into that senior. And I want to make sure, I want to make sure I'm representing, because that's what my grandmother, that was so important. What I saw in terms of my grandmother, the way she looked, the way she carried, the work that she was doing. And it's helping me today become the person that I would like to be moving forward into my life.
Now, Yverne, you're also a member of this organization. Talk about how it's had an influence on your life.
Right. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Veronica. Basically, it's been an opportunity to get with other grandparents, and especially in the Bronx community, and begin to share some of the successes and also challenges that we've had in raising grandchildren. I myself am a grandparent of 3 children and also a mother of 3, and basically grew up in the Bronx, raised my children in the Bronx since childhood days. So coming and meeting with this organization by way of their play, Dinner at Grandmother's, was so interesting to me, and I've just been following them along. And then now that they've set up the forums at the Museum of the Arts in the Bronx, I've had an opportunity to really network. Additionally, in my community, I work with seniors as the AARP chapter president in the Wakefield area of the Bronx. So this gives them also another outlet how to meet with other seniors and listen to their challenges and how they're overcoming you know, things that might be happening in the family as well as in the community. And it also gives us a chance to advocate for, you know, things that happen with our group, the 50 plus, we call them 50 plus. Because some grandparents are not, you know, necessarily elderly, but they're getting there, you know, in their early 50s.
So I see how you can draw the seniors, the 50 plus crowd, as you were saying, but what programs are you having to draw in the youth? Do you find difficulty on that?
Well, myself? Well, what happens is by attending the forums, I begin to learn about some of the programs that, because of Miss Yverne's resources that are available to us so that we can enhance our own interaction with our families and people in the community. So we do get information about how to be more effective in our relationship with youth especially. It does, and what happens, what was so significant at the occasion was to see the youth interacting with the seniors and how they actually were just so honored to be there with us, have a chance to say thank you, And I think that's what this project really offers, a chance for us to say thank you to people that have meant so much to us, before or even now as we, go on.
So let's talk about some of the programs that have been going on through the year with the youth. What have they been doing with the seniors? How are they joining forces with you all? How are you bringing them in?
Well, first of all, we have to share information. So we at the Bronx Museum, once a month, we are there always the second Thursday of each month, where we bring in other corporations and businesses, because we have to strengthen our seniors to go back and have positive dialogue with our youth. And if the seniors does not have the information, how do you expect them to have dialogue with the youth? Growing up, I always use that as a model, because in my community, you went to the seniors for information. The seniors knew about what jobs was coming. The senior had the wealth of information. So at the Bronx Museum of the Arts, and this is our second year, and we just partner up for another year with them, is let's strengthen our seniors. Let's give them the tool that they would need to go back in their community and not only talk to the youth, but talk to their community and let them know in terms of what is going on. We see so many things visually that's going on in our community, but we don't have the information. We don't know what building it is, and we don't know why it's there. So how we can go back and talk about getting my grandson employed at this place. Right. So we at the Bronx Community of the Arts, and right now we're just strengthening it. We do bring in youth. We don't have a huge number. We bring in up to 100 every month.
That's pretty
good. We're going to start with strengthening them. And then once we putting them into group, and once we form these groups, it will determine how we can effectively serve the youth.
So I feel like it's kind of going back to the old African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child type of mentality.
Yes, yes. Because we have to know what information to give. We have to know about the jobs. Macy's are coming, and all these different places are coming in our community. The seniors should know that. So when they go back into their household, they can say, well, Johnny, maybe you should go down to HR. There's a Macy's coming. There's other projects that are coming in our community. Go and let's go on the computer and show me, because there has to be a partnership. Right. And that's the connection. The senior gets to learn about community and technology by telling their children that this is what's going on in the community, so take me there. Yeah.
Yes, you're all doing a wonderful job of doing that, and you see how even you remember you were, Priscilla, you were nominated, actually awarded at the Grandparents' Ball. Let's talk a little bit about that. The BronxNet was there to shoot it. Tell us a little bit about the ball that night.
Oh, wow.
I know you were
It was really exciting. This is a beautiful award that Ms. Randolph and the organization presented with me. In addition, we received a certificate from our borough president, Mr. Ruben Diaz. And what happened is that to walk into this facility, in fact, the site was the mansion, the Andrew Freeman Mansion on the Grand Concourse. So by becoming a member of the Grandparents around the world, we've come in to meet another institution in our community that we didn't even know about. We used to drive by and look at it. But we were there on the veranda in the red and white room that was created by one of the designers. And in the gold and white and green room, we had our meals. Our guests were just thrilled. They felt like they were part of the awardee presentation.
Well, we are very thrilled about what you're all doing, and we want to encourage you to continue and hopefully come back and continue to give us an update about what's going on.
Certainly will.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
No problem. For more information on the Grandparents Around the World, you can visit their Facebook page at Grandparents Around the World. We have to take a quick break, but coming up, we'll learn all you need to know about credit. Stay tuned.
So, I got this new family. And I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
So you heard of the Chewbacca fish?
Yeah.
Chewbacca who? Well, you heard of the Chewbacca fish, haven't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And just so the people at home know, describe it real quick for us.
Describe what?
A fish that flies out of the water, like almost like a rocket. It goes like 12 feet in the air. And then what happens is it comes back down before it hits the water. It like flies into people's neck and like starts biting you in the neck and in the face.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If it's out there, I'm going to catch it on camera because I've been out here with my camera for years.
You know how the Chewbacca fish works? What happens is it shoots, it like rockets out of the water like 5 feet in the air. And then as it jumps. And then what happens like 5 feet in the air, comes down, right before it hits the water, it does a one of these moves and flies into your neck and starts like biting you and stuff.
Nah. They don't have the fish like that out here, do they?
Yeah, that's the Chewbacca fish. That's what
they have it out here in the Bronx?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then what happens is right before it comes and hits the water.
Yeah, he tried to hit somebody.
Exactly.
Llegaron los caballos. ¡Huépame! Mira, yo te vi con ese teléfono. ¡Mira! ¡Suelta el teléfono!
Hello, I'm Dante Lemon from Open 2.0 on BronxNet, the show by teens, for teens, and about teens. Catch us every Friday at 4:30 and anytime on the web by going to www.bronxnet.org.
Welcome back to Open. On June 11, the University Neighborhood Housing Program will host a credit extravaganza educating Bronxites on all things credit. Joining us to share more about the event is Jamelia Abramson, Director of the Northwest Bronx Resource Center, and Kathy Clark, Development Director for the University Neighborhood Housing Program. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
So we're talking about credit.
Yes.
Something that can be a blessing or a curse to certain people. Many people are afraid to even check their credit scores, but you ladies are here to tell us the steps of what we should be doing. So let's talk a little bit about that. What are some of the main problems that you see that people have when it comes to credit?
Well, as you pointed, the main issue is originally like just thinking about your credit, like avoiding your credit report, your credit score, and everything that goes into it. But then more so, like understanding what goes into your credit. Like, are you behind on debt? How much credit can you afford, or how much credit are you receiving? Which there's usually a gap between that. Just because you have a $10,000 credit line doesn't mean that's something you could afford. So knowing how you could manage that and tying that in with your budget, so your household disposable income is not jeopardized.
Right.
So your credit goes balancing with your budgeting and your savings and the overall health of your financial status, so to achieve financial stability. The main things that we see mainly as far as like the credit report goes is student loan defaults, all debt coming back. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that you're not aware that existed because again, people are not pulling their credit report, or just because they're old, and the last time you checked, they weren't there, but 5 years down the line, they could come back. So that goes into the transparency of collection agencies. Like, was your debt sold by the original lender to a third party, and was that resold to someone else and then down the line sold again, and now you don't know who owns the debt. So finding who really has control of that, or who owns it now, by looking at your credit report, you can gain control of the situation.
It's like you have to play detective almost.
Almost.
If you let it go for so long.
The good news is, and you mentioned initially, being afraid to even look at your credit report because of the process. The good news is the Northwest Bronx Resource Center is here to hold your hand. We have an event coming up that you're going to share with the viewers in which We have information about how to get secured credit cards, how to look at your budget, how to create more income, in your household, as well as to work with a trained financial coach from the financial clinic to pull up your credit report for free.
I think that's the most terrifying thing, especially when you know you haven't checked it a long time.
And then you will have a range of very skilled financial people right there with you. They're going to be able to explain to you what the credit score is, what the problems are. There may be easy fixes, but if it's a little bit more complicated, you can create an appointment for one-on-one financial coaching, and that is also free.
But I love that all this is free.
Well, part of our mission and part of the reason why we created the Resource Center was to reduce the use of predatory services. So, people everywhere, but especially in the Bronx, are struggling to make ends meet. And sometimes they get lured into a product that seems very attractive, will bring more income into their household, and it just creates a lot of problems. So everything we do is free. People are trained. We have a series of financial education courses that are coming up in July. Knowledge is power.
Definitely.
As much as you're afraid.
Especially about your own finances.
Exactly.
So we were talking about earlier about certain websites that you can go to check your credit score. Is Credit Karma one of those sites that you would recommend? And I believe there's another site that people should go to.
Yeah, Credit Karma is a place you could use to continue monitoring your score depending on how mobile savvy or computer savvy you feel with different apps. But starting off with annualcreditreport.com, where you could get your 3 credit report free through the government. It's a secured site to log in once you confirm your identity. There's millions others, but you also want to be concerned where you're inputting your information so you don't become a victim of identity theft, or for you to continue paying for a service. A lot of the other places like freecredit.com promise you that they'll give you your score for free or your report for free, but then there's a membership fee or something pops up at the end which you didn't read on the fine print. So that fine print is key. But with Annual Credit Report, you could be safe. It's a government site.
And you feel like that's the site you go to if you're beginning again?
Yes, or always. Once a year, you could check your credit report. If you feel you need to monitor it more frequently, since you get all 3 credit reports for free, and we're talking about TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, you want to make sure that the information in all 3 is accurate, because what's on one credit report may not be on the other. So you want to make sure when you're comparing all the information that all is it's all consistent, and that you've taken care of any late payments or any bad information on all 3 reports, so you can move forward with a clean slate.
How long does it usually take for a low score to be brought up to at least a moderate or, at least a higher score? And when we say low, that's usually below what, 600?
It depends what you're applying for. If it's for a bigger, if you're planning to make a large purchase like a home or a car, then you're going to need a higher score, so probably 700, 720, 750, depending. But you also want to be wary when you hear no credit, no problem, because that's usually the problem. You're going to get a loan, but it's going to be at a higher interest rate. It's going to cost you more down the line.
And a lot of people don't look at that.
Yes.
It seems like it's an easy thing to get into, but the interest rate is going to come back and get you, haunt you.
You're going to pay probably double, 3 times of what the item should cost you. Or by the time you're done paying it off, you probably don't even have the item anymore.
Right.
So those are things to consider. Like, is it worth it for me to go through with this credit approval or this credit line that I now have available? Can I afford it down the line?
And anyone can recover their credit score, correct?
Correct.
I think that's what another fear that people have, like, oh, my score is too low. I don't think I can even bring this up. I'm just going to leave it alone.
We have, as I said, people can access free one-on-one financial coaching. Call our number and make an appointment. But one example, the financial counselor from the financial clinic shared with us was a person who had a bad credit score. and was getting debt collection calls, was being harassed, and wanted to rebuild their credit. So over a period of 1.5 years, 2 years, was able to get a secured credit card. And then working with the counselor, was able to identify that one of the collections was from a hospital that had been closed, and they were able to resolve that piece. Another collection was past the date of the statute of limitations. They were able to get that off. And then the other ones, the person began, paying and understanding what he should pay, what he could put on a back burner, and, within 2 years, then had credit through the secured credit and was able to deal with back problems. So, yes, you can deal with issues.
Well, tell us one more time where the Bronxites can come and participate in this program on the 11th.
Well, they could join us on June 11th at 2715 Bainbridge Avenue. That's the Lady Refuge House building. And we're going to have a lot of experts. We're going to have lots of information related to credit. It's going to be a true extravaganza. It's going to be a fun day filled with a lot of information that it's not going to be nothing to be intimidated of. We're going to give you all the information and make sure it could take 2 years or it could take 6 months. Your credit could improve. It depends how severely damaged it is. But ignoring it is just going to make it worse.
And the number that you're going to share, if they can't make it to the June 11th fair, they can still call. We can help people, with home buyer assistance, people who own homes, and we can get you with that financial coaching we've been talking about.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much, ladies.
Well, thank you.
Very valuable information.
Thank you.
Thank you. Remember that you can learn more and check out the event on June 11th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. located at 2715 Bainbridge Avenue in the Bronx. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear the inspirational story of a talented author. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Open. I'm your host, Veronica Guiti. Our next guest is an ordained minister, a New York State chaplain, a preacher, a keynote speaker, and a highly accomplished author. And she joins us today to share more about her book, as well as her work to empower women all around the world. We welcome Pepper Bonet-Martin to this show. Welcome, Pepper.
Hi, Veronica. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
So let's begin to talk about your ministry, Wife Ministry, about the organization. Why did you decide to create this, and what does WIFE mean?
Well, WIFE is an acronym that stands for Women Intended for Excellence. And basically what the purpose of the organization is to empower women, basically to help them get from one stage of their life to the next. Unfortunately, I've had the displeasure of running into several women who have had traumatic pasts. They've been raped, they have suffered from sexual abuse and similar things related to that. And when we encounter this, whether I have seen it as an educator, I'm formerly an assistant principal right here in the Bronx, and as a minister, ministering to families, when I speak to these women and they begin to talk to me about their careers or about different relationships that they want to develop and encounter, they feel like some type of intangible glass ceiling is holding them from actually feeling fulfilled and ascertaining their true goals, discovering their divine purpose. And when we go back into their past and into their childhood, when these issues are present, we always find that there is something, even in adulthood, that they are experiencing that they really can't identify, but they know that it's there. And so subsequently, the purpose of Wife Ministries is to help people realize that all of us have a God-given purpose. And sometimes some of us have had such traumatic issues that it impacts our psyche. And we need critical steps. And in my organization, they are biblically based, but basically we help them apply them to general life activities to get them from point A to point B, so that that teacher, that home care worker, the stay-at-home housewife, the nurse, the lawyer, the judge, whatever that particular person is experiencing in their career, they can also have spiritual and social freedom to accompany that. Sometimes they may feel like they haven't, sometimes on the outward, other people may say, well, you know what, you're already very successful. But that person feels like there is something greater in them and something else is preventing them from actually experiencing what that greater call is. And so the purpose of Wife Ministries is to work with these particular women, to empower them to break that glass ceiling and to basically get them to from point A to point B.
Now, is this something that you personally went through? I mean, I know you've encountered many women who have gone through a lot of these issues, but what was your personal issue that said, okay, this is something that I need to do, the organization?
Well, unfortunately, when I was a child, unfortunately, I was abused by someone who my mom had invited in. My mom didn't really let me stay over at people's homes and that kind of thing. But there was one person that won her trust, and he violated me. And as a result of that, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell her. I didn't tell anyone until maybe a couple of months before I was getting married. And it devastated her, and it devastated my family. And then I realized that even though I was very intelligent, I was very well educated, there was still something around me and inside of me that felt like it was oppressing me. And so subsequently, when I began to search on my own and start to become more self-reflective and introspective, I realized that there were a lot of things that was holding me back from what had occurred that one time in my life. And so I was determined to get inner healing. There is a scripture that says, for he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. And growing up in church as well, oftentimes when we hear that scripture, we immediately apply it to just physical healing. But Jesus was bruised for our inner pain. And so those bruises that are under the skin oftentimes are not dealt with appropriately, or not long enough, or not to the point where it's uprooted. We may put a salve on it, and just as long as the person, you know, is a college graduate or a high school graduate or whatever it is that their career goals may be, they ascertain them. We say they're okay. They're made up well. They have the first lady hat or whatever it is, and they look good. But that's not always the case. And so Wife Ministries deals with the up and out. We deal with professional women who in their private life are having some type of major struggle, and it's coming from a place that they cannot identify. And when you talk to these women, usually it's coming from something that's been very traumatic. They may not have talked about it, or they may have forgotten about it. And so also as an associate pastor, I have found in my experience that the church really does not always deal with these issues.
I was going to ask you that. How does it influence the church? How is it helpful?
Oh, yes. So the organization is going to be partnering with various churches and to act as a resource to provide training and support to pastors and leaders so that we can provide spiritual and biblical counseling. And, of course, to the people that want to utilize this as a resource who may feel that they may need it, we can deal with them in confidence. And we also plan to do general workshops. I have also been faced with a lot of questions from a lot of men, and so a whole new segment has emerged where I'm ministering to men who are good men, who are in relationships with women whom they love very much, but these women are bound by these issues and the men don't know how to deal with them. So I have a separate segment where we're training men on what to say, how to say it, how to love your woman, and to let her know that it's not her fault, neither is it your fault. The both of you are going to get through this together, but you need strategies. Prayer is fine, fasting is fine, shouting and praising God is fine, but that in and of itself is not always enough, specifically in areas that deal with the soul and the pain of the soul in this realm.
Let's quickly talk about your book, I'm Married, But I Feel Like I'm Single. Where can it be found, and who's the audience for that book?
That book was a derivative of Wife Ministries and also a personal memoir about my life and how I felt in my previous relationship, and it can be found on Amazon.com. People can go to About Me /Pepper Bonet Martin. All of my websites are there, as well as info at I'm Married, But I Feel Like I'm Single.com. You could purchase the book also at Barnes & Noble. There is a Kindle version at the Book Nook, at Barnes & Noble Nook, as well as in bookstores, certain bookstores on Long Island, specifically Rebirth Christian Bookstore is carrying it. So it is around. You can Google it and you can find it and purchase it.
Well, thank you so much, Pepper. You've been through so much, but now I see you're happily married.
Yes,
and
I
you're
am.
doing a wonderful job with this organization.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you. For more on Pepper Bonet Martin's work, you can follow her on Facebook, as she mentioned, at Pepper Bonet Martin. We have to take a short break, but we'll return with Music Mondays.
Long before I was in Hollywood, I had a grandmother by the name of Estelle Marie Taylor. Positive role models to make sure that I was on the straight path. Big Brothers Big Sisters carefully screens volunteers and places them in long-term mentoring matches with kids who face adversity. With more volunteers, especially men, and more donations, every little who needs a big can have it. Start something. If it's been a while since you've been involved, start something again. Learn more at BigBrothersBigSisters.org.
This was me. And Mom and Dad. And my big brother Alex. And Jack. And this was the day that I learned that sandals get their name from sand. That jellyfish aren't made of jelly. That stars don't just come from the sky. That the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget that I was sick. And it changed everything. This was my wish.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people, connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
Welcome back. The stage is set and it's now time for Music Mondays. Known to many as the king of R&B, rhythm and Bible that is, he has a goal to encourage, refresh, and uplift his audience through his music. And we are pleased to welcome him to our Music Monday stage. Welcome to the show, Rhythm and Bible. How are you?
Thank you. I'm blessed abundantly.
Well, we're so happy to have you. Tell me real quick, how did you get that name?
I came up with that name just by, I would always play R&B in the gospel music, reggae. So all the music would blend it into the gospel music, and it would just be like, just real inspiring for people to hear the gospel message and feel good about it.
And what are you playing for us this morning?
I'm going to be doing an original song I wrote called The Light of the World.
All right, let's hear it.
When the saints go marching in, to God be the glory, be the glory. He must be born again. I'm so glad Jesus lifted me, yes he did. Lead me to Calvary. How great thou art, no not one, just as I am. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I surrender all at the cross. Down in my heart, I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. In the sweet by and by, yeah. He is the light of the world. Yes, he is. Can I sing it again? Oh, he is the light of the world. Yes, he is. On Christ a solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking sand. Whoa. Standing on the promises, I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. Precious Lord, take my hand. Lead me on, let me stand. Amazing grace, sweet hour of prayer. Love lifted me. He looked beyond all my fault and saw my need. Speak to my heart, I fly away. Trust and obey. Glory to his holy name. We'll understand it better by and by, yeah. Hey, he is the light of the world. Yes, he is. Can I sing it again? Oh, he is the light of the world. Yes, he is. He's the light of the world. Light of the world.
up to me, you can sing it again and again and again. Gospel music is one of my favorites. Wonderful job. I just love the lyrics. We don't have much time, but we definitely want to tell the folks at home where they can see you on June 7th.
June 7th, I will be ministering at Lehman College. We'll be having a gospel concert. You come on out and have a good time in Jesus' name.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Rhythm and Bible. You're going to take us out, and I am definitely very happy to have met you today and to hear your music. You ready to take us home?
Yes.
All right, let me just close out. Thank you, everyone at home. Remember, to see Rhythm and Bible and many other empowering performers in concert, you can visit brownpapertickets.com. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you today. I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us and you, the viewer, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can tune into the Recablecast open at 5 at 10 p.m. or watch anytime on the web at bronxnet.org, or you can catch all new episodes Wednesday at 10 a.m. with Darren Jaime. From all of us here in the studio, have a safe and enjoyable day. Rhythm and Bible is going to take us home.